welcome to the Purity After Promiscuity podcast, where we are redefining a woman's worth. I am your host, Jenna Renee. Hey girl, hey, how y'all doing out there? It is a cold Sunday, January the 18th, 2026. 18 days into the new year, y'all, and I'm gonna say that it's just been a loaded couple of weeks. A lot has been happening, and I'm excited to share with you guys. Today's episode is called "What's in Your Heart." I know we did healing the heart a few episodes ago, but what's in your heart it's just what I feel the Lord has placed in my spirit. So that's today's episode. And before we get started, I want to go ahead and release our countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So, hey, to all my loyal listeners, I say thank you. How y'all doing? I hope all is well with you. I appreciate all the love, all the downloads, all the streams. I appreciate it. All the support, all my people all across the world in other countries and nations. Thank you so much. Even to my new listeners, welcome. You're in the right place. Sit down, relax, and allow yourself to be edified and equipped, and so you can go out and just walk in your true worth and do it unapologetically, becoming holistically whole, and just walking in our destiny that He called us to, right? The exact thing that God has created us to do that only you can do. That is the goal here. We want to be totally in alignment and in sync with God and what God is doing in the earth, because He is still doing great and mighty things no matter what it looks like. And so we are here trying to navigate this thing called life together. And so this is a community, and we're all on the same journey. We're all looking to be healed and be whole and to walk in purpose and just to glorify the Lord with our lives. So if that sounds like you, please hit the subscribe button, follow, rate us, leave us a comment, leave us a rating on a platform that you're listening to that allows you to do so. I truly appreciate it. It does help the podcast. It helps me to gain visibility. That is the way you can partner with this podcast. Just simply follow, subscribe, hit your notification button, share, and leave us a review. That's all you need to do. And I truly appreciate it. So without further ado, y'all, I got some tea. Okay? I got some tea. So, y'all, now, if anybody who's listening today, been listening since 2021 when we got into this thing, I talked about a lot. But a lot of what I talked about probably back then was the relationship with me and the ex that I was with at the time. So, when I started the podcast, me and him was broken up. But at some point, I started back communicating with him, and just kind of off and on from 2020 to about 2022. I just kind of was off and on here and there. We were, not communicate for maybe 4 or 5 months at a time, get back in communication. It just was in like a cycle. And so finally one day, and it was probably like February 2022, when I just really felt in my heart, because I knew the Lord had told me to end the relationship. And I knew we weren't supposed to get in it from the beginning, because to be honest, y'all, like, I can sit here and try to put all the blame on him. And yes, there was a lot of things that he did, a lot of choices he made that really had some destructive consequences. It really was, it caused a lot of turmoil and heartache and pain to me. And it really caused a lot of, devastation to our relationship. But if I'm honest, y'all, I wasn't no good either, because I was unhealed myself. Like, I was broken when we got in the relationship. I wasn't going to be able to be anything for him that he would have really needed anyway. Had he been a better man, had he made better choices, had he treated me well, I would have probably hurt him anyway, because my own hurt, because I was hurting, because I was broken, because I didn't know who I was. I didn't have my identity. I still was dealing with extreme father wounds, mother wounds. I had low self-esteem, low self-worth, low self-confidence, and I was just not in a good place. I had been through a lot of trauma. I had been through a lot of very difficult circumstances and situations that I had not healed from. So I wasn't gonna be no good either, and I'm sure I wasn't. And it's just that his fruit was a lot more outward. Mine was probably just like a lot more internal. But needless to say, we were two broken people who had no business getting together. And this, in spite of all the red flags, in spite of all the times Holy Spirit warned me and told me not to, and send a person, and all the things that I ignored. I just wanted what I wanted in that moment. And really what I was looking for was love, acceptance, right? Validation, affirmation, that I thought I could get in him. I thought, feeling like I was chosen, feeling like I was seen, feeling like I was enough, good enough, lovable. Somebody loved me. Somebody could want me, was what I needed. And really it wasn't. And so, long story short, finally ended that relationship, got to a place where I just begged and begged and begged God, like, please God, because I knew that me keep going back, like we broke up initially, then we stopped talking for however long, then we'd start back talking again, after maybe a couple months or so or something. Then we would, I would end it again, and then we go maybe like 4 months, 5 months, and then I go back to opening that door for us to communicate. And so that happened maybe about 3-4 times. And that last time, it's like I knew. I was like, God, I'm disappointing you. I'm so sorry. You told me to end this relationship. And I couldn't understand like why I kept going back though. I was like, because at the time I had all the reasons, like, again, all the real time hurt and pain that I was still trying to process, all, the heartache, all, the things that happened, all the, disappointments, all the, betrayal, all the lies, all the things, right? That it was just evident, right? It was just in the natural. It was just evidence, like, this is not God's will. And then it was just God said so, right? God said end it. And so I felt bad, like, God, I'm disappointing you. I keep going back. I keep opening the door. I don't know why. Please help me. And I just asked God to help me. And I just was crying, y'all, just crying my heart out, because I genuinely was like, God, please, I need you. Please do this. Help me. And I just told God, if you get me out this time, I'll never go back. And I feel like in that moment, God really answered me, and he gave me the strength, and I ended things that day. And I never talked to him again. Like, I think he called me once after that, and he called me from a number I didn't know because I had blocked him. And once I realized who it was on the phone, I hung up. And after that, I've never talked to him. So that's going on 4 years. And it's taken a long time. I'm gonna be very honest, y'all. He did some things to me that really caused some deep-rooted hurt in my heart. And my heart was so broken, y'all. Even thinking about it right now is like making me emotional, because even though I was broken myself, I really wanted to love him. Like, I really felt like I loved him. Like, I kept accepting him back after he would do all these things, and I would leave him, and then I would just allow him to just, pull me back in, and he would just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, and he would just cheat on me, he would just lie, he would just not come home, he would just over and over and over, right? But it was something about him, like, I don't know if it was just a soul tie, because the truth is we was living in sin, fornicating, shacking up, all the things we should not be doing. But I feel like, I thought I loved him, or maybe I really did. And so I would be deeply hurt, deeply wounded. I'm talking about broken. I was just in so much pain constantly, and so stressed that it came to a point in time where I just was like, I didn't even know how to begin to heal. You know what I mean? Like, really, because, it was so much. And so over time, the Lord led me on a healing journey, and healing is layered. So we'll say that. Like healing, I think sometimes we assume that healing is a one and done. And I've learned in life that it's not like that. Especially if you have like a lot of trauma, you know, you experienced a lot of different traumatic experiences. You had a lot of moments of brokenness and, you know, rejection, pain, or whatever, right? It's layered, and God doesn't deal with it all at once. He'll deal with this thing, and then he'll bring you to a place of healing, and then he'll take you on to the next thing, because, you know, it's a process. And so I went on a healing journey, and through that, God, that's where, you know, Purity After Promiscuity was birthed. That's where Redefining a Woman's Worth coaching business and brand was birthed. That's where, you know, at some point after it was then the women's ministry that I got was birthed, so on and so forth, right? So God began to heal me, and then he began to birth things. And so I just started living my life. I started, you know, reframing my life, refocusing my life. You know, I really started getting more intentional with God, and really focused on what it is that he called me to do, allowing him to really uproot a lot of things, allowing him to purge me and purify me of just many things, and mostly about me, not about him or anybody else. It was mainly about me. Because again, I had a whole lifetime of my own trauma and chaos and heartache and pain way before he came along, you know. So, and through the years, you know, I have not had no thought or desire to want to contact him or talk to him. And, you know, he's tried, you know, to contact me at different moments in time through his family members. And I just would shut it down. I wouldn't even respond to it. I would just delete it. Because it was all mostly on Facebook. And he would, you know, have somebody reach out to me via Messenger, and then somebody sent me a friend request and all that, this and that and this and that. And I knew exactly, you know, what they wanted. You know, again, the person who messaged me in my DM, they basically asked me for my number, saying he wanted my number. His mom reached out to me, and I ran into his mom last year, y'all. After all these years, I have not seen that woman. And last year, I ran into her at the store, and it was so crazy. And one of the first things she said, she was like, "Oh, I can't wait to tell," you know, she said his name, "that I seen you." And I was just like, I just looked at her, and I mean, it was like my heart dropped, because I've been trying to avoid these people, to be honest. Like, I don't communicate with anybody that I know associates with him, none of his people, none of it. I just have totally just severed all those ties. And so I thought that's basically what I was supposed to do, right? And finally I got to a place, you know, over time where I felt like I had forgiven him, and I could pray for him genuinely and sincerely. But I had prayed for him all through the years, right? While we was together, you know, even after we had broke up, whatever, I was always praying for him. And, you know, I don't know if my prayers at the time was genuine or not, or if they were out of my own selfish ambitions, because I wanted him to be a better person to me. But, you know, once I felt like I forgave him, I really would pray for him earnestly. And I just felt like there was nothing up for us to ever have to discuss, because I even got to a place where I feel like he don't owe me anything. You know, I don't need an apology. I don't need a conversation. I don't need an explanation. I don't need nothing. Like, we're all good. Like, listen, you're free. You don't owe me a thing. You know, like, I forgive you. All is forgiven. All is well. And that's that. And so I've just really tried to navigate my life and move forward. And just recently, though, some things have come up, and it has me questioning, like, did I really forgive him? It has me questioning, like, am I holding on to some type of resentment, some bitterness? Do I really care about his soul? Because you know, the idea, I've been having like dreams, and I have dreamed through the years of him, and normally the dreams are very overtly demonic. And so when I say that, like, what's happening in the dream is just terrible or not good, you know, or perverted or something along those lines. So I just know, like, okay, obviously this not from God. But lately, the last few dreams I've had, the first two recent ones, he was not in it, but his mother was, which it was so interesting. And this last one that I had a few days ago, he was in it. And we were just having a conversation, and I had mentioned something to him, and then I woke up. And so, prior to that, though, I had watched a movie that really pierced my heart. It was a great movie. I believe it's called Miracles Are Real, or Miracles Do Happen, and it was on YouTube. It had Brad James in it, and I don't know the lady's name who was his ex-wife, but I know I've seen her playing things too. It was a very simple movie, but it's a very powerful movie, a very moving movie, to the point where it felt like I wasn't watching a movie, y'all. I thought I was watching two people's real life. Like, it was crazy. And basically, it was just this story of this guy who was her ex-husband, and he was a professional baseball player. And while they were married, he was just like a monster to her. Like, he did so much terrible things, just so much. So she had, was so broken, and he had just totally destroyed her. So after they divorced, she had to start really working on herself and begin to get to a place of healing. And then they had no communication with each other for some time, for I think a few years. And then all of a sudden he reaches out to her, and he wanted to meet with her. And so she obliged him, and she went to meet with him. And the whole movie was just really based on them sitting at this restaurant having this conversation. And he began to tell her about this journey that he went on, and that his heart, he tells her at like early on in the conversation that his heart was broken, and she just kind of took it as like him being, funny. And he was like, no, for real, it is for real. I had a heart attack, and I had to have he said, I think he said he had a coronary block or something, and he had to have a bypass surgery. And and then he talked about that he had to, he ended up, just going on a journey and going back to the country he was from, Puerto Rico. And, he ended up going to coach Little League. And then just all these things. And then he told her how he met the Lord, and he's one people to just led him to Christ. And he would be at this prayer mountain, and he would go, they would lay and just in the grass and look at the, a sky and just like pray and pray. And he would pray in his tongues and heavenly language, and he read his word. And he said he started just really coming to a place where he could feel the love of God, and he felt love for the first time in his life. And he began to learn how much God loved him. And and then he met this people, and he's just starting to tell her this incredible redemptive story of all this journey he had been on for these last years, and how so she's like blown away. She's like, I don't even know who you are anymore. I feel like I don't even know you. And he's like, that man that you knew, he was like, that man that hurt you, that man that lied to you, that man that cheated on you, that man that hit you, he was like, that man is dead. That man is dead and gone. And he was like, and the man sitting in front of you is a new man. And so she was just like overwhelmed with emotion, but she was intrigued, and she was just so attentive, just listening to him. And, then he would ask her about her, and he would encourage her. And it was just such a beautiful, he played that part so real. It was like for real. Like, I was in whole belief. Okay. And so his tone, his demeanor, he was just so meek and so humble and so kind and sweet and gentle. And she was just like, wow. Like, she just started, literally, these parts of his story was so moving, the things that he experienced and what he did. She was like crying. It was just crazy. But she felt like the guard she had up over her heart that she had built up all those years, because she was trying to protect herself and heal from all the damage he had caused. She felt the walls coming down, and she was scared. And she's like, I don't know this, she's now internally thinking these things, but you can hear her thoughts being narrated. And so she was like, but I just want to hear, about this journey. And so she kept staying. So finally she was like, hey, I gotta go. And he was like, hey, before you leave, I just want you to know this me. I want you to know the real me. He was like, I know, I don't deserve it, and I did all those things to you. He was like, but I'm a new man. He was like, and I want to show you this man and tell you more about the things that I've gone through in my journey with Christ. And so she was about to say no, and he just stopped her. Was like, before you say no, he was like, listen, just meet me tomorrow at the bench at whatever the park was. And he was like, if you come, then I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the man that I am now. He was like, and if you don't, I totally understand. And so she ended up getting up, she leaves, and he still sitting there. And then the scene, she go home and she's just like overwhelmed. She had to pour a glass of wine. She crying. She don't know what to think or what to do. She like all the stuff he did to her. Like she just can't allow him back in, all this stuff. So then the next scene, he's standing there at the bench, and he's standing there for quite some time. And eventually she walks up and they walk off hand in hand. And then the movie's ending. And I knew immediately when I was watching it, I even paused it in the middle of me watching it. I said, God, please don't do this to me. Like, that was literally what I said. Because immediately I thought about my ex, and I'm like, God, you wouldn't. Like, and it's almost as if it would be like a punishment. I was like, God, you wouldn't. And so I just started praying like, God, like, I know this is not what you're saying. Please tell me that's not what you're saying. Because I could identify with that woman. I felt her pain, like her agony, just what she went through, what she would even say it. And then even he said some things, that he admitted, and, he apologized, but I could totally relate to her. And even looking at him, so much similar to my ex, and how he was the last time I saw him. But all I could think about is, God, why would you do that to me? And I kept saying that, and I kept, and so I'm saying what's in your heart, because what I kept saying was, what I kept making it about me, right? I'm like, God, I don't want this. God, I don't need that. God, why would you do this to me? And I made it all about me. But what if my ex is on his journey of redemption? What if he wants to, get to a place where he can, apologize to me, or explain to me how he got saved? Or what if God want me to see that my prayers got answered, right? What if this is a part of his journey for him to really see the love of God, that somebody that he did so much to and hurt so bad could still show kindness to him, could still, be gracious to him, could still, have love for him, that me representing Christ, instead of me even being open to consider, like, could this be God? Maybe this is not about me at all. Maybe it's about him. Because after all, I prayed, and I meant when I meant it when I prayed for him. I want him to be saved. I want him to be the man of God that I know God created him to be. I know he has potential. I know he has a purpose, right? I know he's more than his actions and his reality, and I always saw that in him. I always saw the goodness. I always saw the greatness. I always saw, that man, that God had so much more for it. And I just really wanted him to see it for himself. And I used to even tell that to him, like, I just wish you could see what I see. I used to say that to him, like, I wish you could just see what I see. I wish you could see yourself how I see you. Like, and he just was in a place where he couldn't. But I'm like, what's really in my heart? Now I have to question, did I even forgive for real? Like, am I still holding on to some kind of resentment or bitterness? Am I still hurt? Like, what? Why would I be so adamant to say, no, Lord, please? And why do I look at it as a punishment? Like, that's a time of rejoicing. If this man got saved for real, like, talking about my ex, like, if he was to get saved for real, like, that would be a miracle. And then we in our church, our pastor is in a series of going over spiritual gifts. And today's spiritual gift we were talking about was miracles, right? And that movie was called Miracles Are Real. So we're in this miracle time, and it would be a miracle. It would be a testament of God's mercy and grace to see somebody like my ex, because he's somebody that most people will write off, even me. Like, you would just conclude that he could never be anything different than what he was, because he was just that terrible. And you would just not even think there was hope, even though God can do the impossible and nobody's too far gone, because God is able to redeem even the hardest of hearts. But some way, somehow, I made it about me. And I'm like, while I'm praying for him, I won't be used as a vessel though. I feel like I don't want to be, I don't want to yield to, humbling myself to allow a person who need to see God in a tangible way, or maybe need to, go on their journey of salvation. I'm on my journey of salvation, right? I know God. I have a relationship with God. I'm saved. But what if this is a part of his redemption, his salvation story? Like, why am I so, like just closed off to the idea? Even so much so that I was telling a couple of the ladies at church earlier about one of the dreams I had the other day, because one of the young ladies was in the dream. So we're talking about it, and I'm telling them, and I'm telling, and the girls that, as I'm telling them, they're like, oh no, that sounds like a familiar spirit. It sounds like the enemy trying to just bring back another familiar spirit. That happens sometimes. That happened to them. This and that. But there's one lady who's standing there, and she's an older lady, and she's somebody I love dearly too. And she's very seasoned, and I'm telling them about it. And the first thing that she said, she was like, what if God bringing it back around? And I said, I rebuke that. Instantly. I said, I reject that. And then I stopped and I covered my mouth and I said, I'm sorry. I hope not. But why do I feel like that? Like, what if, now, y'all, I'm not saying that this is what God is doing. But what I am saying is, what if that was what he was doing? Like, what if it was God saying, no, I just didn't want you to, y'all was at the wrong time. Obviously it was the wrong time. Like, it doesn't take the Lord to tell me that. Like, I have sense enough to the hindsight, like, oh, neither one of us was ready. We couldn't have been anything as bad as we wanted to. Like, I couldn't have been a good godly wife. I ain't no telling how I would have been acting, y'all. Like, for real. And now I'm like, how can I must still be hurting, or I must still have some unforgiveness in my heart that I wouldn't even have a conversation with the man. Like, I wouldn't even give him an opportunity to tell me what if he got saved, or to tell me about his journey, or to tell me about, what God has done in his life. Like, really? What's in my heart? What's in your heart? Right, so I say this to say that sometimes we think we forgave, and it feels like we did because time has gone past. Maybe you don't have to interact with the person, you don't see them, and so it's easy to feel like, oh, I forgave. Yeah, I'm over that. But how you know you really forgave is how you respond if you see the person again. How you respond if God tells you to show the love of Christ. How you respond if that person wants to come back into your life and to at least to have some conversation and apologize, or if God say, no, I want you to reconcile. That's how you know. It's easy to feel like you forgave when you don't have to be around them. It's easy to be out of sight, out of mind. It's easy to feel like, oh, all is well. Ain't nothing in my heart. I don't have no bitterness or unforgiveness. I forgive you. I release you. But do you? Because here's the thing. We may not be aware what's in our heart, but God do. He know. And sometimes it's those hidden things in our heart that are preventing us from the things that God want to do in our lives, because those are still open doors. If we're holding on to unforgiveness, to bitterness, to resentment, anger, sin, hey, that's an open door. That's where the enemy can come in. What's in your heart, sis? Check your heart. Like, ask God again. Like, God, please show me my heart. God, show me my heart. Purify my heart. Purge my heart of anything that's not like you. And if you know you ain't forgave that person, just confess. God, you know what? I want to forgive them. I don't know how. I still am holding on to pain, anger, bitterness, and I don't want it. It is there. I'm in agreement with it. But God, I want to come out of agreement. Please help me. I don't want to hold this no more. I want to release this person. I want to release this out of my heart. Like, just be honest and invite God in, because some of us haven't walked into the fullness of what God has for us because our hearts are still full of bitterness and unforgiveness, and we're not gracious and merciful. We don't extend grace to people, but we need grace from God. Like, we know the Bible tells us, by the same measure we give mercy, we'll receive mercy. By the same measure we give grace, we'll receive grace. And I'm not saying every person that try to come back in your life or go reopening doors and stuff, be wise. Go to God, seek him first, and be discerning, because yes, some things will be the enemy. Be discerning. Don't be foolish. But also don't be so close-minded that you're not even open into the possibility that it could be God. God don't do things like we think. His ways are not our ways. His thought is not our thought. He desires that none shall perish. None. Not even the people that hurt you. Not even the people that hurt me. He said he wills that none shall perish. We have to get in agreement with him. We have to our hearts have to be in sync with his, to beat like his, beat for people he cares, for this world, as wicked and evil as it is. So much so he gave his only begotten son. And I'm not saying it's always time for restoration or reconciliation with someone who hurt you or someone's not safe. But it is to say, if the opportunity came for you to extend the love of Christ, could you do it? Like it says in the word, like you don't get anything for loving people who loves you back. Even the Gentiles do that. It's like, it's when you love people who are unlovable, people who don't deserve it. That's when you are walking in the love of God. That's when God is pleased. When you do the hard thing, when you do the uncomfortable thing. Comfort is a killer to purpose. I say it all the time. Comfort is a killer to purpose, because we seek to be comfortable, but purpose makes us uncomfortable. We have to go to uncomfortable places. Our faith is stretched to an uncomfortable place. Our minds are stretched to an uncomfortable place. Like our realities are stretched to an uncomfortable place. Like, but when we want to stay comfortable, we'll never step out. We'll never go. We'll never leave. We'll never do. And we'll never see the glory of God. So what's in your heart? What's in your heart? So that is today's episode. What is in your heart? I know it was like a lot, and I really just kind of gave y'all a little testimony, but I just pray it blessed you. And I pray that it's even causing you to reflect and think about your own heart and what could still be there. Amen. And I just want to say thank you all for listening to today's episode of this podcast, Purity After Promiscuity, where we are redefining a woman's worth. Remember, your past does not define you. It develops you, and you are worthy.